Hey watercolor wizards, Hajra here. Today we'll be doing a William Heath Robinson Ink Master study for Inktober. Free Skillshare video links, art blogs, Q&As, sketches, deconstructed paintings, video notes, and art gifts are all at a single convenient tier for patrons on Patreon. Thanks for parking your brushes here and let the epic painting adventures begin. I love ink and ink and wash pieces, and I love fall and winter and all the holidays that they bring. Plus, I'm a winter baby, so my birthday's in a cold winter month, so I just love it when the fall and winter show up, and Inktober is the start of that. So it's delightful to be doing this for my first Inktober project. I do enjoy doing at least a weekly Inktober piece, so I think that everybody should participate to the degree that they can and not feel pressured to do 30 pieces if that's totally not doable. I'm using a waterproof SIG Writer marker, and it gives me some lovely neat lines, and it's light, fast, and pigment based, so I love using it. You can use it at a tilted angle, unlike a micron Pigma marker, so it's easier if you have some issues holding a marker upright the entire time. William Heath Robinson was a lovely English cartoonist and illustrator, just this amazing offbeat humor and also complexity in many of his pieces. Comparatively, this piece seems kind of puritanical, but the facial expression in the original version still reveals how the artist has a sense of humor. The figure is so dry and haughty in her posture, and so stiff and formal in how she holds her dress with her posturing hands, subtle signal for tongue-in-cheek humor, because he's really just poking fun at folks who are too serious about themselves and their fine clothes and their attitude. When it comes to the face for this piece, I'm going to use a fine brush and just dab that into the marker ink that I've scribbled onto my drawing board. This works really well for fine areas like facial features to make smaller and more daintier lines, and I've done this often in a lot of my inking videos in the past. If you like ink doodling and details, then you're going to have a lot of fun inking this piece because it's very calming, as there's a lot of textile patterns and collar ruffles and tight hair curls to draw for this study. The scarf is really fun. I love the repeated lines on it. It makes it almost seem like it's got an animal print on it with the way that the repeated lines sort of meld together. And I also really enjoy the ornate scrollwork textile pattern that looks very Baroque. Whenever you're doing a study, try to, when you're replicating it, walk in the artist's shoes or their ink pen or their paintbrush. Try to understand why they made these choices, what they liked, what they didn't like, what they felt was compelling. And this piece really helps me sense and understand that Robinson really enjoyed all these micro details. His original piece is in black and white, and there's no colors, just the black ink. And I think that's partly because he had all this fun with just the ink dolling up this entire piece with these details and different patterns and textures, so the colors become an afterthought. And I'm going to add ink colors to my study of his piece probably at a later point, since all these faces look irresistibly mouth-wateringly paintable to me. But I did want to mention that Robinson's version is only black ink on white paper. I'm using mixed media Strathmore journal paper, and it's not super robust for watercoloring. It's one of the reasons why I reserve it for ink or ink and wash. And I only have several pages of this type of paper left because I've managed to use most of the rest of it. I've dismantled at least 2 of my watercolor and art journals since I have a hard time as a lefty, and also just myself not being annoyed by the central binding in these journals. So I'm probably not going to buy any more bound journals since I just take them apart. So what's the point of paying for them? As a bonus, since the pages are now loose, I can discard the studies and drawings that I don't like instead of having them stuck in a bound book to look at forever. And it depends on what sort of artist you are. Some people keep all of their pieces, even the less successful ones. Other people like me get rid of the ones they like less. And it's also a result of my being overly tidy, I'm sure, that I just have to sort of pull out stuff that seems extra and not as good and just toss it out. Don't like to have extra stuff around. And the little peak of foliage in the background is really fast and fun, and also a great juxtaposed texture. It's so dense and dark and scribbly, juxtaposed with the neater and more careful and more open line work of the figure's dress. It's a great compositional choice as well because it looks like she's some stuck-up flower growing out of the shrubbery behind her. Well, Wizards, hope you enjoyed this Inky Master study. If you want to do your own version of this study along with me, if you're a patron, I provide you with a reference for this on my Patreon. Do check out William Heath Robinson's other work. You've probably seen a few of his ink drawings without even knowing it. He's rather prolific and well known. I had an inktastic time myself doing the lines for this piece, and I can't wait to bust out some colored inks for it in a later video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and check out my website link, Skillshare, and Patreon page to support my art and art channel below. Thanks for parking your brushes here, and wishing you all inky art adventures.